Give you a few hints from my personal experience on how to guarantee misery in your life. And you know, this is engineering. You can look at the negative, and that will teach you about the positive. Therefore, my prescription for sure misery. So the things you should do to avoid misery is adopting a get-rich-quick attitude. Envy and resentment. While susceptibility varies, addition to a get-rich-quick attitude can happen to any of us through very subtle means, such as expecting and receiving gifts for doing your job as a professional. The bonds of temptation are too light to be felt until they are too strong to be broken. In more than 6 decades of my life, this is the president speaking, not me. I'm still a young man. I'm yet to meet anyone whose life has been worsened by fear and avoidance of such deceptive route to destruction. Envy, of course, joins chemicals in winning some sort of prize for misery. It was wreaking havoc among mankind long before it got a bad press in the law of Moses, as in the Ten Commandments. If you wish to realize the role of envy in leading a miserable life, I recommend you never read about the life of the great lexicographer Samuel Johnson, because his life is a living testimony of the advantages of avoiding envy. Avoidance of resentment has worked for me in many ways, particularly in our infected gossip environment, where people you have never met before talk to others about you as if they know you from birth. Dr. Johnson spoke well when he said, and I quote, "Life is hard enough to swallow without squeezing in the bitter wind of resentment." If you do not wish misery to be your portion, then eschew resentment. These are attributes I have personally tried, and I've had to change course to seek happiness. And I have absolute conviction that each of them is a road to nowhere. Each of these attributes is easy to grasp, and instead of giving you a long lecture, my suggestion is to seek refuge in your smartphones when you get complete exposure to each of them. I believe such unrelenting desire to find out things on your own is among the tools given you in this august institution. Now to the fourth part of my message, and it is about the character ethics as the foundation that molds the engineer to be successful in his practice. Its ingredients are integrity, humility, fidelity, if you're an American, temperance, justice, industry, fairness, modesty, love for one another, courage, and justice, among others. These are the basic principles of effective living, and you can only experience true success and enduring happiness as you learn to internalize these basic principles in your character. I will caution you to be distracted from the personality ethic that ruled during the period of my formative and professional life, where success was measured by one's personality, of his public image, of attitudes and behavior, skills and techniques that lubricate the process of human interaction at the time. Equally, I will urge you to be distracted from the negative aspects of the millennial way of life that is ruling the world now. If you are ruled by character ethic, you will be able to strike a balance between the good aspects of the millennial ethics, which I'm not qualified to talk about, and therefore will not. As engineers, I believe you know a lot about Newton's law of motion. You are also aware about the pull of gravity. I wish to draw your attention to the tremendous force you need to break an undesirable habit. During the Apollo 11 lunar voyage, more energy was spent in the first few minutes of travel than was used over the next several days to travel 500,000 miles. Such is the tremendous gravitational pull of habits. Breaking deeply embedded habitual tendencies such as procrastination, impatience, selfishness, which are known to violate basic principles of human effectiveness, require more willpower and perhaps a few minor changes in lifestyle than you could ever imagine. Liftoff takes a considerable amount of effort. But once we break out of the pool of gravity, our newly found freedom takes on a whole new dimension. It is your decision to make whether you wish the force of gravity to work with you or against you. I will end with a quote from Aristotle. And he says, I count him braver who overcomes his own desires than him who conquers his enemies. For the battle against self is the most, unquote. I'm highly confident that the men and women who carry the honor of graduating from this institution today will continue to give from their lives and from their talents a high measure of public service. I thank you for your attention.
I'll invite at this time the chairman of the membership committee, Engineer Kwabena Bempong.
Thank you very much, Juliet. The chairperson representing the president of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, our special guest of honor, the immediate past presidents, council members, members of allied professional bodies, inductees and their families, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen of the press, I warmly welcome you to the Engineering Center. We are here today to induct candidates who passed the engineering professional examinations conducted at the following 3 centers in the country. And these were in the second half of last year. That is 29 September 2018, a special one at KNUST in Kumasi. 17th November 2018, another one in Tapa. And then here at the Engineering Center on 27th October and 3rd November 2018. The institution is organized under the following groupings. And we have the technical divisions, which are set up to facilitate the operation and the growth of the institution. Furthermore, they help to promote our civic responsibility, taking cognizance of the disciplines of engineering and their evolution. These technical divisions are made up of chemical, civil, electrical, electronic, mechanical, marine, agri subdivisions. The Constitution also provides for 4 main occupational groups, that is, the professional engineers, professional engineering technologists, engineering technicians, and engineering craftsmen. Every member is required to belong to an occupational group. This afternoon, we are here to induct the professional engineers into the, as we said, to our noble profession. And it is my singular honor, Mr. President, to present to you these candidates who participated in our examination for transfer from the various classes of trainee professional engineers to professional engineers. Thank you very much.
Sorry about that. We will proceed with the induction ceremony. And I'd like to invite up here the Vice President, Engineer Okai.
May I request that all inductees please rise. Looks like some who were inducted years ago are interested in joining you. If you look on page 24, we have the engineer's pledge, and you will read after me. But when I say I, you put your name there. And please say it loud so that the one next to you will know that you are being inducted. So let's begin. I, in the presence of these persons here present, pledge the highest standards of moral, professional, and ethical conduct. I pledge to uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Ghana Institution of Engineering. And shall subject myself to the decisions and directives of the Council. The governing body of the Ghana Institution of Engineering. I shall discharge my duties as an engineer in honesty. Fairness. And truthfulness. And shall be just and courteous. Exhibiting the highest form of moral philosophy. In as far as it is within my capabilities. I shall cooperate in extending the effectiveness of the engineering profession by my contributions to the training of engineers and the safe practice of engineering in the Republic of Ghana and beyond. I pledge to uphold the honor and dignity of the engineering profession and shall not advertise my work or merit in a self-laudatory manner. In all these, having due regards for the safety of human life, the environment, and property. So help me God. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Okay, so we're going to start with chemical.
I would like to invite past President, Engineer W.E.O. Apetu to join them.
So we're starting with chemical division, chemical mining division. Engineer K. Amono. Engineer K. Amono. Engineer Frederick Ni Naku Norte. Engineer Johnson Amon Kote. Engineer John Clement Swatson. Engineer Emmanuel Asumeni Ofori. Engineer Terry Ralph Cobson. Engineer Yao Owusu. Engineer Leonard Kopina Asare. Engineer Joseph Ige. Engineer Atu Debra. Engineer Christopher Simons Jones. Engineer Margaret Enyewu Asumaka. Engineer Deborah Ya Abropa. Engineer Daniel Adonati. Engineer Henry Sapon. Engineer Joseph Baka Abu. Engineer Joseph Edujemfi. Engineer Cosmos Entry Edubofo. Engineer Mrs. Margaret Edith Ako. Engineer Paul Longodi Abeifa. Engineer Isaac Owusupuku. Engineer Ebenezer Nkrumah. Engineer Abraham Osei Bedu. Engineer Richard Kabina Awatwe Boyce. And Engineer Gideon Ado.
Thank you very much, sir. I'd like to call Engineer Dr. Patrick Amwa Bequin.
Civil Technical Division. Dominic Odro Pojo, Engineer Dominic Odro Pojo. Engineer Dennis Amuzo Safoji. Engineer Samson Na Tete. Engineer Ben Isaac Efa. Engineer Felix Tabase. Engineer Eric Askofin Safo. Engineer Michael Ni Mama Akita. Engineer Ziem Saniguru. Engineer David Kwesi Sampson. Engineer Gifty Siao Jima. Engineer Godswill Elom Fiagbe. Engineer Mark Nate Abuag. Engineer Rexford Obeng Abdul Tam. Engineer Felix Ajayabwa. Engineer Theophilus Ni Ama Okai. Theophilus Kai. Engineer Frank Nizakwepo Apollo. Engineer Solomon Enim Bredo. Engineer Anthony Wobenu Kumoji. Engineer Sam Nelson Asiedu. Engineer Morris Macheko Momala. Engineer Prince Kas Abotri. Engineer Peter Itipuro. Okay. How I can chance giving you two certificates. Okay. Engineer Rose Echia Donko. Okay. Engineer Mark Nate Abuano. You are not supposed to very. Engineer Michael Yao Echampon. Engineer Elijah Kofiose. Engineer Oliver Akwa-Techi. Engineer Peter Kwadwo Owusu-Entry. Engineer Francis Kofi Ejapon Siama. Engineer William Vidoga. Doctor. Engineer Gladys Esther Anaman. Engineer Richard Nati. Engineer Epia Santua Akosa. Engineer Kwakudia Owusu. Engineer Evans Kakraba Intim. Engineer Sylvia Kotia. Engineer Augustine Hazel. Engineer Ahmed Kwame Mole. Engineer Michael Yao Inyang. Engineer Wilson Mensah Okan. Engineer Eugene Ankama Owusu. Engineer Seth Esiminta. Engineer Ellen Soglo. Engineer Amos Ishen. And Engineer Frank Amofa Ajiman.
Thank you very much, sir. I'll call on Engineer Dr. Emmanuel Kwesi-Nyantakyi.
No, I think that's because it's from Kumasi. Engineer Emmanuel Ibobansa. Engineer Michael Apia Asante. Yeah, Kupansa. Engineer Abdul Wahab Abokere. Engineer Franklin Yao Sechi. Engineer Adams Kujo Sri. Engineer Frank Sam Unuyawon Tom. Engineer Kofi Ajiman-Boateng. Engineer Jerry Sechi. Engineer Felix Famikabo. Engineer Maxwell Efriye Opon. Engineer Emmanuel Yao Ankora. Engineer Daniel Ofori-Mensah. Engineer Obed Opoku. Engineer John Kwesi Ajuman. Engineer Abdulrahman Ibrahim. Engineer Evans Ama. Engineer Augustine Angile Komtoma. Engineer Susanna Tiwa Bedu Osei. Engineer Stephen Bolivar. Engineer Benjamin Kweku Hagan. Engineer Christiana Amoako. Engineer Ebenezer Maunya Segbefia. Engineer Bismarck Otu. Engineer Isaac Garba. Garba. Oh, sorry, Issa Garba. What was I? Engineer Kwesi Nwamesi Nogbe. Engineer Samuel Kwame Hinetu. Engineer Christian Kweku Mensah Akaho. Engineer Franklin Amegashiti. Engineer Ray Kobla Kudugbe. Engineer Samuel Nkansa. Engineer Hobson Dodi Kubulenu. Engineer David Pamela Agbekodo. Engineer Michael Ba. Engineer Bernard Anane Dato. Engineer Christopher Fianu. Engineer Benjamin Okaija Kwe. Engineer Yusuf Sedek Imam. Engineer Michael Graham. Engineer Fanny Abra Adeko Mrs. Engineer Wakil Donko. Engineer Kofi Sarkodie. Engineer Frank Abrefa Kusi. Engineer Robert Amakonga Aminga. Engineer Richard Kwejo Asante. Engineer Yabua Miyama. Engineer Anthony Simon Paku. Engineer Xavier Kofi. Engineer Cheslin Bedaya Kofi Philbot. Engineer Eric Efobede. Engineer Hussein Adams. Engineer Benjamin Odoikuma. Engineer Stanley Amon Ama. Engineer Hussein Beidu Isa. Engineer Bernard Odro. Engineer Verana Ajele Mohenu. Engineer Lawson Ajete Ajay. Engineer Eugene Tay Enim. Engineer Aaron Ni Abel Tete. Engineer Alfred Elolopomblo. Engineer Benefit Elikem Amewuga Patu. Engineer Idriso Akumbange. Engineer Justice Sam. And Engineer Joshua Dankwa. Anthony. Engineer Anthony Ansam. So that is for the electrical electronic subdivision.
Thank you very much.
Is Evans Ama here? Joshua Dampa.
I would like to invite up here Engineer Dr. Reverend Charles Adams.
That is for the Mechanical Agric Marine Technical Division. Engineer Benjamin Esau. Engineer Sydney Ni Ajay Lai. Engineer George Stevenson Awate. Engineer Andrews Dankwa. Engineer Collins Owusunya. Engineer Antonio Kroko Aluboke. Engineer Gregory Atapites. Engineer Samuel Dobaji. Engineer Professor Anthony Simons. Engineer Faisal Brown Amwapo. Engineer Precious Eme. Engineer Emmanuel Beidu. Engineer Emmanuel Ajete Ajay. Engineer Pabna Pantiamwa. Engineer Francis Stokes. Engineer Pius Aka. Engineer Joshua Annan Reynolds. Engineer Halim Abdul. Engineer Eric Innam Agbulebo. Engineer Bernard Williams Amwa. Engineer Enoch Kofi Ameyao. Engineer Daniel Aprako. Engineer Dr. Francis Kumi. Engineer Francis Oblite Amui. Engineer Adwa Tinkrom Korama Kwako. Oh, after all this guy. Engineer Ama Enima Nyama. Engineer Dominic Polo. Engineer Jacob Emmanuel Mandus Menase. Engineer Eric Yabua. Engineer Kojo Techi. Engineer Francis Kofi Jr. Engineer Dr. Selom Yauchi Toglo. Engineer Andrew Ama Adum. Engineer Isaac Osabu Anna. Engineer Charles Dia. Engineer Lawrence Yaya Amanyo. Dixon Hamza. Hello. Hello. Okay, let me just go again. Diallo Kofi Senyo. Eric Tutu Chow, Dr. Eric Tutu Chow. Engineer Amos. Not here. Engineer Hamza Al Hassan. Engineer Lawrence Yaya Amanyo. Not here. Engineer Rita Elon Bansa. Engineer Dixon Kuma Ayib. Engineer Kenneth Abebio Ejakun. Engineer Lokman Yahudu. Joseph. Okay, Engineer Joseph Ajuma Ida. Kenneth. Engineer Kenneth Abebio Ejakun. Okay, thank you very much.
Congratulations to you all. At this point, I'd like us to acknowledge the presence of some of our past presidents. If you could kindly give us a wave. I didn't see our past presidents give us that wave. Thank you. All right. There are a few awards that are going to be given out, and I would like to invite the Executive Director, Engineer Kwabena Japan.
So we will start with, this was for 2017, the best candidate in the Engineering Professional Examination, Electrical Electronic Technical Division. And this is Engineer Senior Kofi Fialo. This award is presented to Engineer Abraham Osei Badu as the best candidate in the Engineering Professional Examination, Chemical Mining Division. Engineer James Frempong Ejekum as the best candidate in the Engineering Professional Examination, Civil Division. For the Electrical Electronic Division, Engineer Franklin Yao Sechi. For the Mechanical Agri Marine Division, okay. Mechanical Agri Marine Division, the best candidate in the Engineering Professional Examination, Engineer Jacob E.M. Mensah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. So at this point, we would invite up here one of, our immediate past president, Engineer Mrs. Carolyn Buchidi, to give us a word of advice.
Thank you very much. The Chairman and Vice President of the Ghana Institution of Engineers, Chairman of the Membership Committee, past presidents, and I'd like to name them, and if they can kindly stand and be acknowledged, Engineer Apatu and Engineer Okuti. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion. Council members here present, families of inductees, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to add my congratulations to all newly qualified professional engineering practitioners here today for their achievement. You deserve to be celebrated by your family and friends because you have no doubt worked very hard. You have been assessed by your peers and found to have the knowledge, experience, and character required of professional engineering practitioners. And so henceforth, you have been certified to undertake the important duties of a professional. This certification you are given is not without conditions. You must continue to maintain and update your knowledge, experience, and character, good character, throughout your working life. Thus, in the yearly renewal of your certification, you'll be required to show that you have undertaken activities that have contributed to your continued professional development. And let me add here that the council, this past council, just approved a new document on continuing professional development. So if you are not familiar with it, please go to the website and familiarize yourself with its requirements. Because at the end of the year, it won't be just a matter of paying your dues. You'll be asked how many hours of continuing professional development you have done. Being a professional does not just mean carrying a title. It's part of it, but that's not the only thing. Your appearance, your demeanor, and all must exude confidence, but not arrogance. You must be poised and adopt the appropriate tone when you communicate with others. You must behave morally and ethically. You must be seen as somebody who can be trusted. If you have given an assurance that something will be done by a certain time, then make sure that it is done. And if for any reason it cannot be done, you must communicate that appropriately to your stakeholders and give them reasons why. In the same vein, when you or your organization makes mistakes, you must take responsibility and take corrective actions. It is only in this way that you engender trust, not only in yourself, but in the engineering profession as a whole. Whatever we do as engineering practitioners impacts on society, and we only engender trust when we treat society with respect, giving them reasons when things fail, and keeping to our word when we say we will do something. Above all, you must display competence in your field. And this means taking any opportunity available to you to acquire new knowledge. You must read constantly, learn about new developments taking place in the world, and so on. And whilst they may not be things that seem to impact you immediately or directly, the nature of this interrelated world that we live in today, with its fast-moving technological advancements, means that we are likely to find some of the things that now seem futuristic finding their way into your field and impacting on your work. Not long ago, when drones appeared on the scene, they were weapons that were mainly used in targeted strikes against distant enemies and used by the developed world. Today, drones have entered the civilian world and are being used in several other ways. In the construction and engineering sector in particular, they are especially useful for recording, analyzing, and collecting data in difficult to access areas. Some of the buzzwords that are currently making the rounds include words like big data, blockchain, the Internet of Things, virtual reality and augmented reality, 3D printing, and robotics. And they are things that you must pay some attention to. And I'd like to try and excite your interest in some of these things. Big data like this involves the analysis of very large data sets to reveal patterns, trends, and associations, especially as they relate to human behavior. The Internet of Things, which refers to internet-connected devices that can exchange data, will make possible the monitoring of infrastructure through sensors that will collect and analyze large volumes of data. In other words, big data about the infrastructure. Virtual reality and augmented reality, which are forms of immersive media to visualize the end results, will soon make their way, and in fact are making their way, into engineering. The virtual experience of walking around in a planned construction even before it is built could not only provide insights to the project team, it could tip the balance in favor of a competitor. So you better pay attention. Who can provide such an experience to the client? And I recall some years back doing work for a client. One architect had provided, drawings, nice perspectives, 3D drawings, and so on. And then another architect from abroad brought in similar things, plus a video that you could use to walk through the building. And guess who got the job? You need to pay attention to some of these things. Blockchain is the technology that underpins digital currencies like Bitcoin. Now, many other uses are currently being explored. With blockchain technology, transactions are logged in real time and can even be logged across borders. So transactions are maintained in a network of computers, and by design, the data cannot be modified easily. But every single transaction that takes place is stored and can later be examined by a regulator or anyone else. The hallmarks of blockchain technology are transparency and security, and thus it's being considered for things like digital voting or e-voting, real estate, land title, and automobile title transfers, and even procurement. 3D printing is another technology to watch out for. 3D printers can be used to produce some engineering designs to scale. They can also be used to produce real components. And there's already talk of 3D printing whole buildings and bridges. In the not so distant future, we may find robots taking over some tasks. This may begin with robots taking over tasks that are not very safe for humans. But eventually, it may extend to tasks in which robots have some competitive advantage. So there are going to be so many new and more efficient ways of performing many engineering activities. And you must keep an open mind and examine each new development and adopt those that will help you in your quest to improve the practice of engineering for the benefit of society. Some of these new technologies may yet help Ghana in leapfrogging older technologies to accelerate its development. You enter the profession at a time when the profession is being more fully regulated. The GHI is calling on government and industry and all other engineering service providers to ensure that only properly trained engineering practitioners with the requisite certification practice engineering in Ghana or undertake any engineering services. And this is according to the Act, the Engineering Council Act. So as you explore the use of new technologies and undertake your large projects and so on, we encourage you to use the services of the GHIE. We are ready to provide a platform here at the GHIE for peer review of all engineering projects. Presentations from the designers of new projects can be made before us. Your peers will critique you and help improve the designs. Your peers will also help with input to ensure that costing and the initial systems and operations and maintenance costs are reasonable. And we call on all engineering practitioners to take advantage of such services. I congratulate you all once again. Enjoy the day and carry high the torch for this noble profession. I wish you all the best in your engineering career. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to invite up here Engineer Kobna Japon, the Executive Director of the Institution of Engineering, to give us his closing remarks.
Thank you, Judith. My job is very simple, but it's something that I looked across when all of you were coming up the stage to receive your certificates. And I do not want to believe what the social scientists tell us. I didn't see a lot of smiles on your faces. This is your big day. And engineers should learn to develop social skills, the swag and the flex. to accompany such an accomplishment for this day. So give yourselves a round of applause. And especially as you are a special breed, you are the last group to be inducted in this 50th anniversary year. And of course, I cannot continue without also introducing one person who has been my senior from school at Ghana Highway Authority, who's going to be inducted into office come next Friday. Our President-elect, Engineer Leslie Alice Aye. Please let's acknowledge him. Madam has given you all the advice, so I won't try, but I'll give you a little, as I say, engineering housekeeping notes and the Route Act. Look at the last but one page of the book you're holding. And I want you to let this be around you all the time. The mission statement of the Ghana Institution of Engineering is clear: to develop, sustain sound, competent engineering practice in Ghana comparable to global standards. And I think that should be embedded in your head. And then at the end of the core objectives, to ensure that members of the Ghana Institution of Engineering maintain professional standards, adhere to regulations, guidelines, and code of ethics of our profession. And this has to be throughout your lifeline, as our immediate past president told us. And as we know that today the world is growing, you are expected to earn 18 CPD points every year. And as Madam said, if you go to our website, you find the new CPD document that has been approved by Council. And there are various ways of getting that. It's important that we update ourselves and we enrich our knowledge. Engineering is about judgment. And judgment is about knowledge and experience. And so we have to be anchored in our knowledge and build on our experiences. On that note, I want to wish you a successful career, and that after today, you are inducted as a professional engineer of the Ghana Institution of Engineering. You have a responsibility to actively involve yourselves in the things that we do. There are people who get registered and disappear, and they come 10 years later to come for renewal. And then when we slap them with penalties, they complain. I want you to be a new batch who would really walk the talk. It's absolutely vital. Once again, on behalf of our president who was unable to be here, we are all going to Akosombo next weekend. And I expect all of you to be there. You are newly inducted members, so now you have a vote. But I won't talk about the elections. But we expect most of you to be there at Akosombo and many more. And that's when we're going to have our induction, the annual general conference, and our annual general meeting. And we expect all of you to be there. After this program, we'll have light refreshments downstairs. And then we've tried to build a press spot where you can take some pictures and show your social skills. It's very important. Engineers are known to be stiff, but we've got to relax a bit and show the world that we are the ones who build the world. Without the input of engineering, there can be no development. Most of the problems we face as a developing country are engineering related. Am I not right? Housing, what is it? Sanitation, energy. So all of you are here. Once again, on behalf of the President and the Council, I want to congratulate you for this day. And there's one other person I think I have to acknowledge, the Chairman of the Civil Division, Engineer Joe there. Unfortunately, today there were far too many electronic division. We, the civils, are becoming a dying breed. But we'll fight back. We still have the majority of membership. But I can see the electricals are really trying to catch up. Anyway, on behalf of the President, I said, I want to say thank you. And I want to say the grace, Madam, if you allow me. You want to do one more thing? Okay. Well, one thing that I nearly forgot. Your stamps, your professional stamps. from now on, you can be proud enough to put your stamp on your works. And that stamp comes with responsibility. So as you stick your stamp on your work, you should know the qualities that Madame talked about. I'm very happy that you're going to have my not so nice signature with you for the rest of your lives. I'm sure anytime you look at it, you remember Nigeria, Japan. Yes, that was good. Anyway, so I think on that note, let's all rise up and say the grace. We need to do that when we're in school just before we eat. So I haven't forgotten. So that's going to be our closing prayer. So may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you and enjoy the day, and wish all your parents the congratulations for supporting you to become professional engineers. Thank you very much.
Hold on. Please wait. Hello, those at the back, please hold on. We'll have to let the dignitaries, council members, and other past presidents recess before we can leave here. Thank you very much. And there'll be a group photograph of all inductees downstairs where you're having the refreshments. So please go right down there for the photo before you take your refreshments. Thank you very much. Inductees, please, your stamps are downstairs. You can pick them up in the syndicate room on your way out. Well, the room is down there, but take your photo before you pick up your stamps. Thank you very much.